Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. National job transfer. Me, the strongest mechanic. A world where the game plane called Arad blends with the real plane. Humans in this world can become job changers after reaching adulthood. Swordsmen, gunmen, clergy, fighters, magicians, assassins. Qin Feng chose to become a gunman, awakened his supernatural talent, and chose to become a mechanic during his second job transfer. From then on, we embarked on the path of continuous bombing. Remote strike, firepower coverage, nuclear bomb ground cleaning. A person is a legion. I'm not good at jungle warfare, I'm only good at bombing the jungle into flat ground. Don't make a fuss, I'm only one person. Where did the army come from? I surrounded you. What kind of joke are you saying? Is flying? Does mechanical flying count? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Adhere to originality and eliminate non-compliant commitment letters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Adhere to originality and eliminate non-compliant commitment letters. I, Yang my, guarantee that the signed work belongs to my own original creation, and strictly follow the Feilu writer's convention during the creation process. I adhere to originality and eliminate the following violations. If there are any violations, I am willing to bear all the consequences. 1. Ensure that the signed works belong to one's own original works and do not involve plagiarism or plot plagiarism in Chinese translations. 2. Ensure that no third-party works or plot are plagiarized during the creative process. 3. Ensure that the work of Feilu Novel Network is the first and only contracted website. 3. Ensure compliance with laws and regulations during the creative process, including but not limited to. 4. No political involvement, no involvement in pornography, gambling, drugs, no promotion of cults, no ghostwriting, no waste of manuscripts, no trusteeship, no sale of works, and no account violations. 4. Ensure that regardless of the word count of the work, the signed work must complete the plot, never fail, and never stop or end. Feilu's novel, Fei wants you to look good. Chapter 1. National Employment Transfer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All students in Class 5 of Grade 3, gather together and now proceed to the transfer hall for transfer. 12 years of learning, today is the starting point. Just a serious reminder, once a job transfer is successful, you cannot change your career anymore. Before choosing your own career, everyone should carefully consider it. Blue Star, Dragon Country, Beihai City, War Academy, in a certain classroom. The voice of teacher Zhang from Class 5 of Grade 3 echoes in the classroom. After finishing speaking, teacher Zhang left the classroom with the students from Class 5 and walked towards the transfer hall. Blue Star is a special and magical world. Thousands of years ago or even longer. A game plane called Arad blends with the reality plane of this world. Therefore, it changed the rules of this world. From then on, this world became a real gaming world. Except for humans. There are still a large number of NPCs, monsters, unknown creatures, and so on. In addition, there are also unknown dungeons and various magical equipment items in this world. Human characters are similar to players in games, endowed with magical abilities to fight monsters by the rules of vision. Every human can undergo a job transfer at the age of 18, known as the first job transfer. After a job transfer, the employee will unlock the character panel, gaining powerful power and becoming a true player. These days are the annual days of job transfer. Every city has a huge job transfer hall. There are many job transfer formations deployed inside the transfer hall. These job transfer formations will be activated in the next few days. All eligible humans over the age of 18 can enter the formation and transfer positions. The transfer hall and transfer formation are both established by world rules. Since the fusion of planes, they have suddenly appeared. And the person who hosts the job transfer is the NPC of the game. For thousands of years, they have remained unchanged there. People only know that in the days when the formation is activated, they can switch jobs by entering there. People don't delve deeply into why specifically. After queuing for a few days, today it's finally the turn of the students in Class 5 of Grade 3. Follow Teacher Zhang's footsteps. The students in Class 5 couldn't hide their excitement. As we walked towards the transfer hall, we couldn't help but discuss with each other. Chen Hao, what profession have you chosen? Me. Swordsman, in my opinion, swordsman is the most handsome profession. When I change jobs again, I can also switch to Ghost Cry, Sword Soul, Berserker, and Adhere. No matter which one they are all my favorites. What about you? I don't like killing, so I want to choose a clergyman and have peace of mind as an assistant. I heard that clergy are very popular, just go to the dungeon and row the water. By the way, Zhang Tingting, what about you? Of course, I chose to be a magician. Everyone says that magicians are more suitable for girls. After a second job transfer, magicians can choose to become summoners. Summoners are the most labor-saving and safe profession for girls. Wang Chao, what about you? I choose a fighter. A real man's battle is about the feeling of being physically challenged. For 18 years, I have been constantly exercising and building my physique to perfection, which is prepared for the fighter. A fighter is indeed good, but I, Mr. Liu, am more promiscuous. I choose an assassin, and it's interesting to be stabbed behind the enemy. Qin Yu, let's talk about it. What profession do you want to choose? Everyone coincidentally looked at a handsome young man. Qin Yu. Qin Yu has a very handsome appearance. At the same time, his grades are very superior. In the 12 years of vocational basic theory learning, either the first or second place. Therefore, Qin Yu has been regarded as the school draft by default in school. Even in society, he is often approached by some aunties. So, everyone is quite curious about the profession he has chosen. Everyone looked at him and waited for him to return home. At this moment, Qin Yu did not answer everyone's questions for a long time after hearing their inquiries. But rather ponder. What profession do you choose? So far, he has not made a decision. The reason for the delay in making a decision. There is a reason for it. He was not originally from this world. But it crossed over from Earth. Having 2 generations of experience as a person. This also makes his mind more mature than his peers. After gradually getting to know this magical gaming world, he is very clear that career choices are very important and have a great impact on the future. It can almost be said that success or failure depends on this one move. In addition, he also found that the game plane that blends with this world is very similar to a game he played on Earth. Especially the classification of professions. Swordsman. Gunner. Fighter. A clergyman. Magician. Assassin. There are 6 major professions in total. Even their careers after their second job transfer. For example, the second job transfer of a swordsman. Sword Soul, Berserker, Ghost Cry, Adhere. Second job transfer for gunman. Roaming gunman, gunner, mechanic, ammunition engineer. The second job transfer of a fighter. Sanda, Judo, Street Fighter, Qigong Master. Clergymen, wizards, assassins. After the second transfer of these professions, he played the same game as he played when he was on the Earth. So, he is very clear about what each profession looks like in the later stages. And every profession is the one he likes and wants to choose. Therefore, it makes it even more difficult for him to choose his career. At this moment, facing inquiries from classmates, Qin Yu could only awkwardly smile and say, I'm still considering it. After hearing his answer, a pretty-looking female classmate, Zhang Shaoqian leaned over and smiled, saying, "Qin Yu, I choose a holy position. No matter what profession you choose, I can milk you. You have a lot of milk." Another attractive female classmate, Lu Qin, leaned over and said, "Although I have chosen a swordsman, I can also assist you. Qin Yu, I specialize in control skills and give you control." Another female classmate said, "Qin Yu, I also want to assist you." Soon, several female classmates started arguing about it. The other boys cast envious glances at Qin Yu, feeling a bit sour. Qin Yu walked silently without saying a word. He is no longer surprised by this. After all, both appearance and grades are there. Stop arguing, everyone. After transferring jobs, the school will have to divide into classes and teams. It's not necessarily possible to have one class and one team with Qin Yu. A voice interrupted the female classmate's argument. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 2. Job Transfer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The transfer hall is located inside the school. After walking for a while, Teacher Zhang quickly led Qin Yu and others to the transfer hall. At this time, the transfer hall is overcrowded. Some have come to queue up for job transfers. Some people come to watch the excitement. There are also those who have transferred jobs but have not left yet. The scene was bustling with activity. There is a lot of discussion. After a while, the NPC who presided over the job transfer ceremony finally called out the name of Class 5 in Grade 3. Let the students in Class 5 of Grade 3 prepare for job transfers. After hearing NPC's words, Teacher Zhang lined up the students according to their student numbers. Enter the transfer formation in order. The student ID is ranked based on theoretical grades. Qin Yu has the best theoretical performance. I have always ranked first in theoretical exams. Therefore, his student ID in the class is number 1. But he has not yet considered the career he wants to transfer to. So he gave up the position of number 1 and walked to the back of the 5th class team, becoming the last one. Classmates have been waiting for this day for a long time. I am naturally eager to complete my job transfer. I am very willing to accept Qin Yu's humility. The student on the second chuckled excitedly and said, "Then I'll come first." After finishing speaking, he strode towards the transition formation. Under the NPC's operation. When the second student approached the transfer formation in the center of the hall, the formation lit up. The brightness is very high. This made the students present couldn't help but cheer. Sleeping slot, look at the brightness, your talent is not lower than level C. C.level talents, the talent effects obtained will definitely be incredibly powerful. I envy you. I don't know what profession he chose. Although the profession is fixed and chosen by job seekers. But talent is random and uncontrollable. Transferring jobs is not fair to everyone. Just like some people are born foolish. And some people are born very smart. It all depends on luck. The same goes for talent. Talent is particularly important. Every person who successfully transfers jobs will naturally possess a crucial talent effect. The level of talent determines the strength of its effects. For example, some job changers have a talent effect of increasing attack power. Some job changers have a talent effect of increasing health. Due to differences in talent levels, some people have a 10% increase. Some increase by 50%. The gap is very huge. Moreover, the talent effect will also increase due to the level of the transferred employee. The higher the level, the more significant the difference in talent effects will be. Therefore, the higher the talent level at the beginning of a job transfer, the stronger the strength they will grow in the future. Of course, this is not absolute either. After all, diligence can make up for clumsiness. Some people have poor talents. but still able to become a dominant giant through hard work. This is not uncommon at all. According to the strength of talent effects, talent levels can be divided into SSS, SS, S, A, B, C, D, E, and F levels. Among them, the SSS level is the highest. F level is the lowest. However, according to incomplete statistics, no one in the world has yet obtained an SSS level talent. The reason why it is still rated as SSS level is because someone has already obtained an SS level talent. It is widely believed that there should be more outstanding talents than the SS level, so the SSS level was chosen. But after so many years, no one has obtained SSS level talents to this day. For those who are about to transfer jobs, no one dares to think about SSS level talents. After all, that's too difficult. It's as difficult as reaching the heavens. A.level talents are unparalleled among all. S.level talent, the entire country can be counted with just one hand. SS level talent, according to records, there are only a few in the world combined. SSS level talent, even more so than ever before. For ordinary people, A level, or B level, is already the top level. C.level is considered an excellent level. Less than 10% of the thousands of recent job transfers in a school who possess C.level talent. D.level is at the level of ordinary people. E.level is a slightly inferior talent. F level is very poor. Except for F.level. There are also some talents that are so poor that they don't even have a rating, known as those below F level. People below the F level, some of whom do not even have natural talent or skills, are naturally less powerful than others. Everyone gradually quieted down. Everyone looked in the direction of Class 5, Student 2. All eyes showed a look of envy. Not for a while. The transfer ceremony for student number 2 has ended. At the center of the job transfer formation, there is a stone tablet that displays job transfer information, known as the job transfer tablet. On the stone tablet of job transfer at this time, the transfer information of student 2 is displayed. Zhang Fan, fighting master, talent level. C.level, sure enough, as everyone speculates, it is a very good C.level talent. Later, everyone saw that student 2 had an extra small backpack on his waist. That backpack is one of the signs of a successful job transfer. The backpack is bound to the job transfer. Only oneself can open it. The backpack looks very small. But in reality, there is a huge space inside. Transferers can pack the materials, equipment, coins, and other items they have collected into their backpacks. After owning a backpack, the item and equipment panels will also be unlocked accordingly. Through the panel, you can organize your backpack, count your materials and coins, and wear equipment on yourself. According to Qin Yu's understanding, this backpack is the same as a normal backpack in games, and its function is the same. Apart from backpacks, in the hands of student 2, there is also an extra pair of armor. That is the primary weapon gifted by the NPC after the job transfer. Through the armor, it can also be seen that student 2 has chosen the profession of a fighter. Because fighters have several types of weapons. They are fists, gloves, claws, clubs, and armor. Armor is one of the several weapons that fighters can wear. Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 3. I Choose the Gunner. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Student 2, as he stepped out of the transition formation, felt the changes in his body. Feeling the magical power that flooded into his body after his job transfer, his face kept showing an excited smile. He muttered to himself, C.level talent, the effect is that all attacks come with ice attribute attacks, and also add ice attribute damage. Not bad, not bad. Most people keep their talent effects confidential. But there are also people who actively expose it. Student 2 is the latter. He is too excited. Therefore, talking to oneself inadvertently revealed information about innate skills. Now everyone knows. His talent effect is to add ice attribute attacks and ice attribute damage to his attacks. So, as everyone looked at classmate 2, a look of envy couldn't help but appear in their eyes. You should know. Attacks come with their own attributes. This is a pretty good talent effect. Because this is an attack special effect, it is equivalent to significantly enhancing the attack. In addition to its own attack damage, it also adds attribute damage. Belongs to the dual damage type. If the values of attributes are stacked together, the additional attribute damage can even exceed the damage of the attack itself. Moreover, when dealing with monsters with antagonistic attributes, this effect is even more pronounced. There is also a probability that attribute effects will appear. For example, the ice attribute is to freeze and control enemies. The fire attribute can burn enemies. And so on with attribute attacks and without attribute attacks, under equal conditions, the combat effectiveness varies greatly. This talent effect greatly enhances combat effectiveness. Therefore, the talent effect of attribute attacks is a coveted target talent for most people. After the second student walked down, many people took the initiative to woo and please classmate number 2. Even some teachers took the initiative to throw an olive branch at student 2, hoping that student 2 could come to their class during their freshman year. Next. It's the third student's turn to appear. After seeing the successful transfer of student 2, student 3 was extremely excited and couldn't wait to step into the transition strategy. But his luck is obviously not as good as classmate number 2. He stepped into the formation for the next second. The formation lit up with light. However, the light was somewhat faint. The brightness is not as good as when I was with classmate 2. It has been proven that the brightness of the formation during job transfer can truly determine the quality of talent. In no time, the third student cried and walked out of the formation. His profession is a magician. And talent, on the other hand, is F level, the worst. He walked down the formation while crying. As he cursed, he said, "I'm a magician. What kind of ghost is it that you give me a 5% increase in physical damage? If the increase is small, it won't be worth mentioning. It's useless." Everyone laughed unkindly when they saw the situation. The profession is a magician, so this talent effect should be useless. If it's a swordsman, fighter, gunman, or something like that, that's okay, but a magician who mainly deals magic damage has a talent for increasing physical damage. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't it useless at all? In the second transfer of a mage, isn't there a combat mage who has both magic and martial arts skills? Battle mage. Isn't that a sewer profession? Ha ha ha. This is an E.level talent, don't be so demanding. Adding 5% physical damage is good. After the later level is increased, the bonus can still be increased. Amidst the laughter of everyone, Student 3 walked down the formation in disappointment. In the end, he couldn't hold his tension anymore and covered his face, crying bitterly. He was not the first to cry due to poor talent during the job transfer. Everyone is used to it. Next, it's the next student's turn to play. The job transfer was completed quickly. Swordsman, D.level talent. Next person. Clergy, D.level talent. Next person. Swordsman, E.level talent. The job transfer is in full swing. The onlookers on site cheered and ridiculed at times. The students of Class 5 entered the transition formation one after another and completed the transition one after another. There are a total of 45 students, each choosing different professions. Talent is not considered outstanding. There is no B.level talent available. There are only 3 C.level talents. Most of them are D.level talents. There are 5 E.level talents. There are 2 unlucky people who are F.level talents. More than 2 hours later. The transfer ceremony of Class 5 left only the last person. Qin, who ranks last. It's your turn, Qin. The students who completed the job transfer looked at Qin, who was at the bottom, and reminded them. Everyone also looked at him one after another. Due to his status as a school president, people are paying close attention to him. At this moment, I am very curious about what profession he will choose and what talents he will acquire. After hearing the sound, Qin withdrew his thoughts. Just now while watching other classmates transfer jobs. He has already decided on his career transition. Gunner. The reason for choosing a gunman. There are several main reasons. The first reason. He comes from Earth. A world that has entered the era of thermal weapons. Therefore, he is well aware of the power of technological weapons. There is nothing that cannot be solved by a nuclear bomb. If there are, then 2 rounds. Although physical ascent is powerful, mechanical ascent is no less impressive. Moreover, after the second job transfer of the gunman, apart from the roaming gunman who specializes in shooting techniques, the other 3 professions all possess powerful technological weapons. The potential for growth is definitely not inferior to other professions. The second reason. Out of hobby. Qin himself likes firearms. When I was on Earth, I was still a military enthusiast. So, deep down, I still want to become a gunman specializing in high-tech thermal weapons. The third reason. Security issues. Gunners are relatively safer in combat compared to other professions. For example, a gunner who can carry out long-range attacks. A mechanic who can replace themselves in battle with machinery. Sniper in the ammunition division. These 3 highly sought-after professions that have undergone secondary job transfers are all professions that can remotely strike enemies. Even killing people thousands of miles away. Compared to professions such as swordsmen and fighters who engage in close combat with monsters, they are obviously much safer. Qin had a hard time reviving his life and was very sorry for his life. It is natural to choose a profession with a higher safety factor. Apart from 3 key reasons. Qin also considered all aspects. Finally, I decided to choose the gunman profession. After making the decision. Without hesitation, he walked directly towards the transfer formation in front of the public's attention. Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 4. Brilliant Light. You are listening at novel full.audio. Everyone's attention turned to Qin. Many women on site, whether they were 17 or 18-year-old girls or charming young women in their 20s or 30s, couldn't help but scream when they saw Qin. This is respect for handsome guys. For a moment, Qin became the focus of the audience. What profession would he choose? What profession is not important, what talent is the most important? He has the best theoretical performance among the new generation. As long as his talent is not too poor, he will definitely achieve success in the future. Amidst the chatter of the crowd, Qin walked to the edge of the formation. He took a deep breath and then stepped into the transition formation. It has to be said that at this moment, his mood was extremely tense. After all, this step is crucial. After being reborn into this world, I worked hard for 18 years, but the outcome is just a matter of watching one step. Qin stepped into the transition formation. Next second. A dazzling and unparalleled light suddenly appeared. The intensity of light. More than any previous job transfer. It has even reached a dazzling level. This radiance is exactly what emanates from the formation, enveloping it. Like a huge ball of light shining around. In an instant, the large transfer hall was illuminated brightly. The onlookers looked at the formation. Everyone widened their eyes, grew their mouths, and their faces were filled with shock. They have never seen such a light before. My heart was deeply shaken. Because the light was too dazzling, they looked for a while and had to squint their eyes, making it difficult to look directly. Soon, everyone began to discuss. What's going on, sleeping trough? Who turned on the searchlight? How could it be so bright? There's no searchlight in the transfer square, it's the light of the transfer formation. Since Qin Yu entered the formation, the light has become dazzling, it's Qin Yu. So possible, how could this be the radiance of the magic array? It's really impossible, after all, if it were true, what level of talent would make the array so dazzling? There must be something wrong. I don't rule out the possibility of a bug in the job transfer formation, although this situation has never occurred before. Everyone could no longer believe their own eyes. I can't even believe what I see. Surprisingly, it is the light emitted by the magic array. This is such an incredible thing. Because based on experience, this radiance represents at least A. level or above talents. Some experienced teachers who have taught for many years on site. They come to observe almost every transition ceremony. So far, it has been seen for decades. They witness tens of thousands of people changing jobs. I have witnessed many talented individuals. Even A. level talents have it. But they had never seen the magic array so dazzling before. Those who were once known as Qinjiao. Compared to the present, the light shines. Just like the difference between fireflies and electric lights. It's not of the same level at all. Is it true that the child has an S. level talent? It's unbelievable that there can be an S. level talent transfer in Beihai City. Oh no, if it were true, my city of Beihai would be famous, and this child's future would shine like this light. It's really amazing. The teachers looked at the light and began to discuss. Of course, these are all guesses based on experience. The outcome of a job transfer, specifically the level of talent, ultimately depends on the stone tablet within the transfer formation. The rating displayed on that stone tablet is the real one. Everyone held their breath, endured the glare, and stared at the stone tablet, waiting for the result of their job transfer. The scene went from boiling to once becoming very quiet. Everyone was extremely nervous in their hearts. An incredibly focused gaze. Because no one wants to miss the opportunity to witness history. At this moment, in the transition formation, Qin Yu saw a light curtain visible only to himself. The interface of the light screen displays the current 6 major professions. There is also a countdown for selection. The countdown is only 20 seconds. Although it may not be long, it is sufficient for those who have already decided to switch jobs after careful consideration in advance. Qin Yu glanced at the selection interface and without hesitation, chose the gunman. Career choices are over. A ray of light lingered around him. He suddenly felt a wave of information seeping into his mind. That's information about the gunman. This includes proficiency in firearms, shooting, simple physical skills, and other professions. These pieces of information were infused into his mind in an enlightening way and absorbed by him. In this world, he has not studied any courses on shooting, and has not even used a gun. But at this moment, after absorbing this information, he felt like he had become a seasoned gunman. Even in the western regions of beautiful countries on Earth, gun skills are among the best. This is the benefit gained after a successful job transfer. In the moment of successful job transfer, one immediately becomes a professional. A true professional. Not only gunslinger, swordsman, fighter, magician, clergyman, assassin, but also any profession, after successfully transitioning, will gain mastery of the basic skills of their own profession. In addition to acquiring proficiency in basic professional skills, Qin Yu also obtained his own backpack. And the weapons gifted after a successful job transfer. A brand new but old-style pistol. This pistol should be in mass production. Because every gunman who successfully transfers jobs will have the same. The grade is low-grade white. The increased attack power and other attributes are also minimal. Obviously, this is an entry-level pistol. Everyone will have these things. Qin Yu took a brief look and then put it away. Subsequently, he fixed his gaze on the stone tablet at the center of the formation. What he is most concerned about is his talent level. After all, that affects everyone's starting point and upper limit. From the radiance emanating from the array. My talent is not too bad. Conservatively estimated to be at least B. level or above. So, Qin Yu doesn't have much psychological pressure. Because B. level and above talents are already 1 in 100, within his psychological expectations. I waited for about a few tens of seconds. Finally, text appeared on the stone tablet. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 5. Genius. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The stone tablet for job transfer shows. Qin Yu, gunner, talent level. None. No talent level. This made Qin Yu's eyelids jump, his eyebrows furrow, and his pupils suddenly shrink. Surprisingly, there is no talent level. At this moment, his mood plummeted to the bottom. Because of this situation, it happened before. Only talents that have not even been rated at level F will not be displayed on the stone tablet. In other words, I don't even have the qualification to be rated. That's why we lose our talent. Are you a waste of talent? Qin Yu looked at the dazzling light still emanating from the magic formation and was suddenly confused. I can't believe my eyes at all. Not just Qin Yu. The crowd watching the job transfer ceremony was also very shocked. When they saw the dazzling light emanating from the magic array, they thought that Qin Feng was at least a B. level or higher talent. I didn't expect it to be a waste of talent. This makes them very incredulous. But that's how it is displayed on the stone tablet. There is nothing more authoritative and authentic than a stone tablet. Since it is not displayed on the stone tablet, it means there is no rating. Immediately the sound of discussion exploded like a bomb. What's going on? That light is so bright, it's a useless talent without even a rating. I thought he was some kind of genius without a single one, but I didn't expect him to be a fool. What's the use of being handsome? It can't be used as a meal. Ha ha ha. It's just trash. It seems that we have taken a wrong look. Or maybe there's really a bug in the magic array. In short, it's just a waste of talent, one less powerful ability than a normal person. Many people began to mock mercilessly. Especially those who were already jealous, envious, and resentful of Qin Yu, mocked him without reservation. They finally found a point where they could surpass Qin Yu and laughed loudly. Those with E. level and F. level talents also have a lot of balance in their hearts. After all, with Qin Yu around, they are no longer the worst. And those teachers who had high expectations for Qin Yu, although they did not laugh at Qin Feng, also sighed and shook their heads. This child is handsome, but his strength will definitely not be very good in the future. Being a vase in the future is still good, but it's not impossible to make achievements, but it's very difficult, very difficult. Not necessarily, even if one is willing to work hard without talent, they may not be able to successfully awaken in the future. You should know that awakening is not easy. That's all about losing talent. I can't blame anyone, I can only blame bad luck. I'm blind to such excellent theoretical results. Qin Yu regained his senses from his confusion. Full of confidence, the result is a waste of talent. He found it difficult to accept and felt very unwilling in his heart. So, before he could leave the formation, he eagerly opened his character panel to see what was going on. He never wants to believe in his talent and doesn't even have a rating. Name. Qin Yu, level. Level 1, occupation. Gunner, talent details. Click to view, attribute details. Click to view, skill details. Click to view, equipment details. Click to view, title. None, guild. None, dueling ground level. None, Looking at the character panel, I found the talent details. Qin breathed a deep sigh of relief. Having talent information proves that one still has talent effects. It may just be a bit close. He clicked to view the details. Jumped out of a panel. Above are densely packed texts. See it clearly. Qin was completely dumbfounded in the same place. My heart is churning like jumping into the sea. Talent panel, talent level. None, talent effect 1. Infinite fire, effect description. The cooldown time of all skills of the character is reduced by 90%, and the mana consumption is reduced by 90%. The effect increases with the character's level. Talent effect 2. 10 times critical strike, effect description. When a character brushes monsters, their income from coins, equipment, materials, and more increases tenfold. The effect increases with the character's level. Talent effect 3. Selected Son of Heaven, effect description. When characters engage in probability behaviors such as creating equipment, strengthening equipment, and increasing equipment, their luck increases by 10 times. The effect increases with the character's level. Talent effect 4. Unlocked, effect description, unlocked after the character successfully undergoes a second job transfer. Talent effect 5. Unlocked, effect description. Unlock after successfully awakening the character. Talent effect 6. Unlocked, effect description. Unlocking the character after a successful second awakening. Talent effect 7. Unlocked, effect description. Unlock the character after successfully soaring. Look at your talent panel. After Qin regained his senses, he almost burst out laughing. This is not a waste talent. But it's a supernatural level talent, okay. It is a supernatural talent beyond the SSS level that humans have been unable to reach for thousands of years. This is not eligible for rating. But it has already involved a rating blind spot, surpassing all previous ratings, which is why the ratings are not displayed. There are 7 natural effects. You should know that talents at level A and below only have 1 effect. Only rare talents at level S or above have 2 or more effects. It is said that there are also 2 effects for SS level talents. And there are 7 effects of one's own talent. What concept is that? Just the number of effects is completely crushing all the talents known to humans. Currently, only 3 have been unlocked. But without exception, any effect belongs to the realm of supernatural existence, capable of instantly killing any SSS level talent. Take the first talent effect, unlimited firepower, as an example. As is well known. No matter what profession it is. There is a cooldown for releasing skills. The stronger the skill, the longer the cooldown. In addition to cooling time. Releasing skills also consumes mana. Similarly, the stronger the skill, the more mana it consumes. It can be said that mana is the energy released to support skills. Infinite firepower can reduce cooldown time and mana consumption by 90%, which means that one's skills will be able to be unleashed almost indefinitely. If someone releases a skill, you can release 10 of them yourself. The combat effectiveness has increased more than 10 times. The scariest thing is that the effect of this talent can increase with level. The current level 1 is reduced by 90%, and after 30 or 50, the effect is likely to reach 95% reduction or more. At that time, it will be a truly unrestricted skill release, as its name suggests, unlimited firepower. The degree of abnormality can be imagined. Unprecedented level, unprecedented. The most important thing is that this effect is very compatible with one's profession. The second job transfer of the gunman is in addition to the roaming gunman. The main output of other professions relies on skills. As long as the skills are released faster and more, the combat effectiveness will be stronger. From this perspective, just the talent effect of infinite fire can achieve a level above SSS level. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 6. Supernatural Talent. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The second talent effect, 10 times critical strike, is equally incredible. The first talent effect bonus is in terms of combat power. The bonus for the second talent effect is in terms of resource acquisition. Resources, whether on Earth, in this world, or in other worlds, are incredibly important. Having resources is equivalent to having everything. Even waste, with sufficient resources, can be forcibly piled up into a strong one. 10 times critical strike allows oneself to obtain cultivation resources, coins, materials, equipment, and more 10 times. The speed of obtaining resources has increased tenfold. In fact, many people also possess similar talents. However, the bonus they received was only 5%, 10%, and even for A-level talents, the bonus was only 30%. A 30% resource bonus, in the eyes of others, is an incredible existence that countless people dream of. And my own bonus is directly 10 times. That's 1000%. It can truly be said that it is an adverse event in the face of adversity. In terms of the talent effect of 10 times critical strike, it must be at least SSS level or above. The third talent effect is heavenly selected people. In layman's terms, it means increasing good luck. This world is a fusion of game planes, with many probabilistic behaviors. For example, creating equipment, strengthening equipment, increasing equipment, collectively referring to materials, and even opening treasure chests. These all have a high failure rate. Especially for enhanced equipment and amplification equipment. Known by the world as the most pit-swallowing beast. Because reinforced equipment has a high failure rate. So much so that countless people worked hard to brush gold coins and strengthen equipment, but failed, and months of effort were in vain in an instant. NPC Kelly, who is in charge of strengthening equipment, is seen as a public enemy, and even many people choose to jump off a building in front of her after their equipment is broken. Of course, if the enhancement is successful, it would be refreshing, and the combat effectiveness would be greatly improved. Especially during advanced enhancements. With each enhancement, the more coins and materials consumed, the higher the failure rate, and the equipment will also shatter. However, the attributes improved after successful enhancement will also be greater. High enhancement can even change the appearance of equipment, making it look golden and very domineering. The same goes for the increase. The effect of the selected person is a tenfold increase in good luck, which means a tenfold increase in success rate. The degree of rebellion is self-evident. I have this talent. One can become the European emperor among the masses. A height-enhancing high amplification equipment will no longer be a dream. The 3 unlocked talent effects have already existed against the heavens. Besides, there are 4 unlocked talent effects. Although those 4 talent effects have not been unlocked yet. But the effect is definitely equivalent to the first 3. The combined effect of the 7 against heaven has indeed surpassed the legendary SSS level talent. After Qin Yu quickly analyzed his talent effects. I'm so happy that I really want to laugh. But in order not to be seen, he suppressed his laughter. After all, talent is personal privacy and also one of one's own trumps. If it's just an ordinary talent that others already know, then it's nothing. But my talent is so incredible. How can we get away with being known by others? So, it's best not to expose it unless absolutely necessary. Although I already want to laugh. But he also pretended to be uncomfortable with the shiitake mushrooms. Even let out a long sigh. Sigh, it's over, let's lose our talent. What should we do? Seeing this, everyone was even more certain of their speculation about Qin Yu's talent. They all cast mocking and pitiful looks at Qin Yu. What a commotion. It turned out to be a waste of talent, it's simply ridiculous. What's the use of having good theoretical grades, and being the top scorer all year round? After today, this guy will be treated like a waste. Once seen as school grass and pursued by countless girls, now I'm probably starting to be despised. Yeah, after all, no one wants to team up with a useless person. School grass. It's garbage, right? Amidst the sneers, pitiful gazes, and various voices of the crowd, Qin Yu walked off the formation with an uncomfortable shiitake expression. Return to the class team. The classmates all looked at him with strange eyes. Previously, most of the female classmates who took the initiative to approach and talk to him became distant. This world is so real. Because everything is full of danger, everyone highly respects force and regards the strong as their top priority. As everyone has said, no one wants to associate with a useless person. The weak will only be abandoned. Of course, there are exceptions as well. A small group of classmates who are usually good friends also came to comfort Qin Yu. Qin Yu, it's okay, just work hard. Talent doesn't affect you becoming a strong person. There have been many examples of people with poor talent rising up in the past, such as teacher Chen Tianxiong from our school. It is said that when he changed jobs, his talent was F level. Now, he is one of the few awakeners in our school. Even in Beihai City, he is still a well-known figure. In the future, sister will cover you up. Sister, I am a C-level talent. If anyone bullies you, tell sister and sister will help you bully back. I can join your team. I am a clergyman and have enough milk to make up for your talent disadvantage. Everyone comforted me with every word you said. Qin Yu knew his situation and pretended to accept his fate, saying, thank you all. I'm fine, and my mentality hasn't changed. Don't worry, everyone. On the surface, the main focus is on having a good mindset. As Qin Yu stepped down from the formation at the end of the line, the transfer ceremony for students in Class 5 of Grade 3 has ended. Next, it's another class's turn. Teacher Zhang gave the students of Class 5 2 hours of free time to move around. 2 hours later, we will take them to the next dungeon for cultivation. Before the second job transfer, everyone was a beginner, and the original teacher would still take them through the beginner period. After the second job transfer, the school will reorganize classes and teams based on everyone's specific professions, and the teachers will also be changed accordingly. I will also be promoted from my third year of high school to my first year. During the 2 hours of rest, Teacher Zhang asked everyone to adapt to their physical condition and professional skills after the job transfer. After familiarizing themselves, everyone began to independently search for their own team and formed a dungeon brushing team. Normal dungeons can be entered by up to 4 people in a team at a time. So, the size of the team is usually 4 people. The team configuration usually includes a main C responsible for the main output, auxiliary clergy responsible for adding buff, and auxiliary components responsible for control. The most important thing is to have deep friendship among team members. So, when it comes to team building, Teacher Zhang only provides advice and helps to see the lineup match. Finding teammates also depends on oneself. Free activity time. Classmates look for their friends and discuss the situation of forming a team. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 7. Properties. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin Yu had not had time to check his professional skills, so he didn't rush to form a team. Instead, he found a quiet place to sit down. Open the character panel. Click on the skill details and it looks good. Skill overview, proficient in firearms, proficient in shooting, throwing mastery, skill 1. Sliding shovel, level 1, skill description. Physical skill, sliding forward to deal 200% physical damage with attack power. Cooldown time of 60 seconds, consumes 30 mana points skill 2. Silver bullet, level 1, skill description. Magic skill. After release, the weapon is loaded with 10 silver bullets, which come with a light attribute attack. Each silver bullet deals 200% attack power magic damage and an additional 20% attribute damage. Cooldown time of 60 seconds, consumes 30 mana points. Skill 3. Micro Self-Exploder, Level 1, Skill Description. A magical skill that releases a miniature self-destructor that can automatically track enemies. After detonating, it deals 400% of the attack power magic damage within a range. Cooldown time of 60 seconds, consumes 30 mana points. Skill 4. Gatling Machine Gun, Level 1, Skill Description. A physical skill that uses a Gatling machine gun to quickly fire 100 bullets at enemies, causing 20% physical damage per bullet. Cooldown time of 60 seconds, consumes 30 mana points. Currently, a total of 4 basic skills for gunmen have been unlocked. There are both physical and magical skills, corresponding to the 4 directions of the gunman's second job transfer. Roaming gunman, ammunition engineer, gunner, mechanic. Among the 4 basic skills, sliding shovel is a specialized skill belonging to the wandering gunman. Silver bullet is a specialized skill of ammunition experts. The micro self-destructor is a specialized skill of a mechanic. The Gatling machine gun is a specialized skill of a gunner. These skills can be learned before a job transfer. However, there is an upper limit to the level and the power is not significant. For skills, each with a cooldown of 60 seconds and a mana consumption of 30 points. This is the original cooling time and mana consumption. If it is after the blessing of the infinite fire talent effect, the cooldown of these skills will be reduced to 6 seconds, consuming 3 mana points. Qin Yu has the talent of unlimited firepower. Others can unleash their skills once a minute, while he can unleash them 10 times a minute. This is a very obvious and significant advantage. After reading my own skills, Qin Yu continued to check his equipment panel. There are a total of 12 compartments in the equipment column. They are: weapons, top shoulder protection, pants, belt, shoes, necklace, bracelet, ring, auxiliary equipment, magic stone, title. At this time, only weapons were worn in Qin Yu's equipment rack. There are no armor or jewelry. However, the weapon is the lowest level white equipment, with a level of 1. So, his attributes are not many. After reading the equipment panel, open the properties panel and you can see: power, 15, intelligence, 13, physical strength, 12, spirit, 10, HP 1200, blue quantity, 651, physical attack power, 321, magic attack power, 290, physical critical hit rate, 20%, magic critical hit rate, 20%, attack speed, 21%, release speed, 19%, movement speed, 22%, physical defense, 301, magic defense, 389 resistance, 0 anti-anomaly, 0 ice attribute enhancement, 0 fire attribute enhancement, 0 light attribute enhancement, 0 dark attribute enhancement, 0 there are many attribute items, but in reality, they are not complex. All professions and attribute items are the same. Strength, which can increase physical attack power and physical skill damage, is the main attribute for improving physical output. Intelligence, which can increase magic attack power and magic skill damage, is the main attribute that enhances magic output. Physical strength, which can increase health and defense, is the main attribute that tank-type auxiliary professions improve. Spirit, which can increase mana and some skill intensity, is the main attribute for auxiliary professions to enhance. Physical attack power, as the name suggests. Magic attack power, as the name suggests. Physical critical hit rate, as the name suggests. Magic critical hit rate, as the name suggests. Attack speed, release speed, movement speed, as the name suggests, the more you increase, the faster your speed will be. Speed and attack power are equally important. After all, in all martial arts, speed is the only thing that cannot be broken. Physical defense is the defense ability to withstand physical damage, and the higher the defense, the higher the physical attacks that can be resisted. Magic defense is the same. Resistance refers to resisting various attribute attacks. For example, ice resistance, fire resistance, and so on. Anti-anomaly refers to resisting various abnormal states. For example, poisoning, dizziness, bleeding, and so on. Attribute enhancement value. When an attack is accompanied by attribute attacks, the higher this value, the more attribute damage will be added. When attribute enhancement values accumulate to a certain extent, the additional damage may even double. Whether it's a physical output profession or a magic output profession, most of them will strive to improve the attribute value of a certain attribute. Qin Yu is currently only at level 1 and has not yet worn any equipment, so his attributes are very low, only slightly higher than ordinary people. Even many items are 0. After reading for a while, he closed the property panel and didn't continue looking. The initial attributes really don't look good. At this point, a classmate found Qin Yu. He was one of the 3 female classmates who had admired him very much before. They are all beautiful as flowers and are the goddesses in the hearts of many people. One of them is a fighter, one is a clergyman, and one is an assassin. Exactly missing a remote output. So they found Qin Yu. Although Qin Yu is considered a waste of talent by many. But seeing Qin Yu's appearance, they didn't dislike him and took the initiative to look for him. Qin Yu, have you selected a team yet? If not, come with us. We happen to have 3 shortages and 1, said Zhang Huajing, the leader. Our thighs are very thick, we can carry you. I don't ask you to do anything, just follow us and get along. When it comes to our team's vase, that's enough. With you around, when we create dungeons, our mood will be very good. How about it? Qin Yu, please agree to our invitation. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 8. Single brush copy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You and I persuaded the 3 of them one by one. Qin Yu politely waited for them to finish speaking. Then he bluntly refused, no need, thank you. Zhang Huajing asked in confusion, Qin Yu, why did you reject us? Do you have a team? Qin Yu said, no, the reason for rejecting you is that I don't plan to form a team, but to play dungeons alone. After hearing Qin Yu's words, 3 female classmates couldn't help but widen their eyes and asked in surprise. Are you planning to create dungeons alone? Not forming a team? Can you brush it? You know, those wild monsters are not for fun. No wonder they were surprised. Under normal circumstances, it is necessary to form teams, especially for beginners. Because the wild monsters in the dungeon are extremely cruel and hostile to humans, as long as they see humans, they will go to great lengths to attack. Moreover, within the replica, everything is true. Once injured or dead within the dungeon, it is truly injured or dead. Therefore, for beginners, few dare to independently create dungeons. There was once, but he died in the dungeon within 2 days. So, teaming up to kill monsters has become a consensus among everyone. And not only do we need to team up, but we also need to have a full team. Not all 4 people are together, and they are not very brave enough to place dungeons. Of course, teaming up to brush images is safe, but the spoils of loot from monster brushing will be evenly distributed among the 4 people. Experience is not affected. The reason why Qin Yu didn't plan to form a team. There is a reason behind it. Mainly because of his talent. Firstly, the talent of infinite firepower increases his combat power by at least 10 times, and even one person is capable of defeating dungeons of the same level. Secondly, once teamed up with others, it is easy for them to discover that he has an incredible talent. One can spread 10, 10 can spread 100, and then one's secret will no longer be a secret. Thirdly, the talent of 10 times critical strike allows him to unleash 10 times the amount of gold coins, materials, and other loot when dealing with monsters. If you team up with others, these spoils will be evenly distributed among your teammates. At that time, it will be oneself who will suffer losses. Fourth, the talent of God-selected person can increase your good luck value. Maybe when you brush the copy, you will burst out high-quality equipment, or even artifact. If you form a team, it will not be worth fighting because of the equipment. It is precisely for these considerations. If he doesn't form a team, then he doesn't form a team. After being refused by Qin Yu's insistence, the 3 female classmates had no choice but to give up and look for others to be their teammates. After the 3 of them left, 2 more classmates, 1 male and 1 female, came to form a team with Qin Yu. But it was also rejected by Qin Yu. Not long after, another team came to find him, but they were also rejected by him. After multiple attempts, the news that Qin Yu didn't plan to form a team and had to independently create dungeons spread throughout the class. Some people who were originally envious, jealous, and resentful of him couldn't help but sneer and mock upon hearing this. I'm laughing to death. Qin Yu, that guy, wants to run dungeons alone. His brain won't be broken, will it? It's just a waste of talent. If I can pass it, I'll stand upside down and eat shit right away. Even if he hasn't been in a dungeon before, at least he has seen it in the book. Don't you know what kind of place it is? Do you think it's a theoretical exam? That's a real battle. Why do you think you're number 1? Who gave the courage to a guy who doesn't even have talent? He's really amazing. This news spreads like wildfire. It reached Teacher Zhang's ear. Out of concern for the students, Teacher Zhang approached Qin Yu for a conversation. Qin Yu, I heard you want to create a dungeon alone. Teacher Zhang asked. Qin Yu nodded truthfully and replied, yes, teacher. Teacher Zhang frowned and said, don't you know that dungeons are very dangerous? That's not for fun. Qin Yu nodded and said, teacher, I know. Teacher Zhang said in confusion, if you know, then you still have to brush alone. I have my own ideas, teacher, you don't have to worry about me. Qin Yu insisted. Teacher Zhang shook his head and said, are you all thinking of going to die alone? Don't give up on yourself just because of your poor talent. You're not responsible for yourself if you mess around like this. He thought that Qin Yu entered the dungeon alone due to his poor talent. Firstly, he was trying to show off his strength, and secondly, he wanted to commit suicide. Therefore, he tried his best to persuade Qin Yu. Qin Yu smiled awkwardly but politely. Explained, Teacher Zhang, I'm not just showing off, let alone going to die. I have my own reasons for doing this, and it's not convenient to say the specific reasons. Teacher Zhang's dissuasion was unsuccessful, and Qin Yu could only choose. After all, whether to form a team or not is decided by the students based on their own situation. The teacher is only suggesting and cannot interfere. And the replica also allows one person to swipe it alone. 2 hours later. The students have already formed their own team. Most of them are in teams of 4 people. A small number consists of 3 people in a small team. Only Qin Yu, 1 person, 1 team. Things should not be delayed. After forming the team, Teacher Zhang led his classmates to the replica area north of the school. That is a huge square. The square was shrouded in a constantly changing light. The entire square is a huge dungeon teleportation array. Just enter the square and step into the teleportation array. You can select the replica you want to enter. Walking in alone is like brushing alone. A few people walked in hand, forming a team. Because it is a regular replica. So only 4 people can team up at most. Almost every city inhabited by humans around the world has such a square. No matter which square you enter from, you will be going to the same dungeon, no different. For example, entering a dungeon at the dungeon square in Beihai City is the same as entering a dungeon at the square in Donghai City. Before arriving at the square, Teacher Zhang pointed to a middle-aged man near the entrance of the square. Explain to the classmates, this is the NPC of the dungeon. Everyone is called Uncle Linus, and you can get a set of new equipment and dungeon-related tasks from him. Before entering the dungeon, it is very necessary to have a set of equipment, especially for beginners like you. A set of basic equipment adds a lot of bonus to you. As long as you don't mind wearing the equipment, with the help of 4 people working together, it is completely enough to pass the first beginner dungeon. It is also necessary to collect tasks before placing the dungeon, because task rewards not only include gold equipment, but also experience, which is valuable. These pieces of information have already been known by Qin Yu and others in theoretical learning. But Teacher Zhang repeated it again to prevent some people from forgetting this point because they were too excited and anxious to enter the dungeon. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 9. Linus. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Everyone walked towards Uncle Linus. Qin Yu also walked over. Approaching Uncle Linus. Qin Yu noticed a visible light curtain in front of him and heard Uncle Linus's voice. Hello, warrior. Nice to meet you. Please accept this greeting gift with a smile. Uncle Linus smiled and said. Subsequently, Feng added an additional set of equipment to his backpack. Apart from weapons and titles, as well as unlocked auxiliary equipment and magic stones, there are all available. Top, pants, belt, shoulder protection, shoes, necklace, bracelet, ring. The quality of equipment is divided into white, green, blue, purple, pink, orange, yellow, and 7 colors. The corresponding levels are low, intermediate, advanced, rare, artifact, legend, epic, mythical. The set of level 1 equipment gifted by Uncle Linus is of white grade. Very ordinary, with low attribute bonuses. However, it is a set of equipment that beginners who have just successfully transferred jobs need the most. After obtaining the equipment, Qin Yu put them all on the equipment rack. Suddenly, he clearly felt that his overall strength was 1 point stronger. An additional force has been added to the body. Defense and other attributes have also been improved. Open the property panel and take a look. Strength, intelligence, physical strength, spirit, attack power, defense power, and other attributes have all been improved. Although the improvement is not significant, it is much better than before. This is the benefit of wearing equipment. Qin Yu closed the personal attribute panel. Then he said to Uncle Linus, "Thank you, Uncle Linus." Then, Uncle Linus said, "I have a task here, I wonder if you want to claim it." Uncle Linus finished speaking. The task content and rewards were displayed in the light curtain in front of Qin Yu. Task Level 1. Task Description. Successfully cleared the forest of Lorraine, limited to 20 minutes. Task Rewards. 1,000 coins, 300 experience points, and 1 random weapon. After reading the task content, Qin Yu quickly claimed it without saying a word. This is exactly what Teacher Zhang said about the main task, which can be claimed before the next dungeon and completed on the way in the dungeon, which can increase the income of the dungeon. Not only Qin Yu, but also other classmates have taken on the task. After receiving the task, Uncle Linus smiled and said, "Warrior, let's officially start your adventure. Good luck." Subsequently, Linus stopped taking the initiative to speak. The students bid farewell to Uncle Linus one after another and returned to the dungeon entrance, gathering behind Teacher Zhang. If you have received the equipment and the mission, then you can start placing dungeons. Before setting up the dungeon, the teacher will explain the mechanism of the dungeon to everyone again. Everyone's first dungeon is called Lorraine Forest, which is a forest. The main wild monsters are goblins. Those goblins are full of hostility towards humans. When you encounter them, don't be lenient, otherwise you will die. After completing the first dungeon and obtaining an A.level rating, the next dungeon will be unlocked. Once you enter the dungeon, you can only come out after completing the level. Apart from relying on yourself and your teammates to complete the dungeon, no one else can help you. Each instance has a level range. If it exceeds the level range of the instance, you will not be able to enter the instance. For example, if the teacher is currently at level 45, they will not be able to enter your level 1 instance. Also, the opening of dungeons has a time limit, only during the day and closed at night. Therefore, everyone must pay attention to efficiency when practicing and not waste unnecessary time, otherwise the progress will fall behind. If you still have any questions, you can ask the teacher now. Teacher Zhang finished speaking and looked at everyone. When students are studying theory, they have already understood the various settings of the copy. There were no more doubts about this, and everyone nodded to indicate that they understood. After looking around, Teacher Zhang turned his gaze to Qin Yu. Later, he said. One more point, the teacher must emphasize. This world is not a game, but a real world. All the monsters in the dungeon are real monsters. They are cruel and cunning, with great hostility towards humans. Everything that happens within the replica is also true. Once injured or killed within the dungeon. That is the real injury and death. So, no one can be careless at all. The wild monsters in level 1 dungeons are weak. But for you beginners, killing them is also quite difficult. When wearing equipment, a team of 4 people is fully capable of completing the level. But be careful as well. If it is done alone, the difficulty will be even greater. Previously, there were instances in schools where beginners used to single brush dungeons, but the results were not ideal. Either they died or were seriously injured, resulting in a very high casualty rate. After Teacher Zhang finished speaking, he specifically looked at Qin Yu. In fact, he said this passage mainly for Qin Yu to listen to. Attempting to make Qin Yu change his mind and no longer just brush. Before the next dungeon, there is still time to retract. Seeing Qin Yu, there was no response. Teacher Zhang couldn't help but say, Qin Yu, do you understand what the teacher said? Wang Xiao and his team still lack one person, why don't you think about it again? Qin Yu said calmly, Teacher, thank you. I understand everything you said. I won't consider the matter of forming a team anymore. Classmates heard Qin Yu's answer. I couldn't help but whisper and discuss. Just pretend to be forced, it's almost enough. We're all going to make dungeons now, and you're so stubborn. It's just a deliberate pursuit of death. After waiting for the dungeon, he regretted seeing those terrible monsters. I heard my cousin say that when he first created a dungeon, the 4 members of the team panicked and they first saw a monster. After completing the dungeon for the first time, they went back and had nightmares for several days. Regardless of him, the teacher has already given him enough steps to step down. If he doesn't listen, there's nothing he can do. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward.